self-awareness, and the path to inner clarity. Mindfulness and meditation aren't new concepts. In fact, humans have practiced various forms of meditation for over 5,000 years. Yet today, they feel more relevant than ever. These practices have found their way into everything from apps designed to improve sleep or reduce stress to therapeutic programs targeting anxiety, chronic pain, and addiction. At its core, mindfulness is about returning attention to the present moment, without judgment, without resistance. It's an invitation to become aware of what's happening now, inside and around us. Breathing, sensations, emotions, even the simple act of observing thoughts as they arise and pass away, these become anchors to the present. Mindfulness is now deeply woven into yoga, martial arts, and breathing exercises. It's not just spiritual, it's neurological. Research has shown that mindfulness and meditation can enhance immune function, reduce blood pressure, and even change the brain's structure and function. Most of these studies were done in adults, but recent work reveals growing benefits for children and teens too. The developing brain is remarkably sensitive. Mindfulness may help strengthen the circuits that regulate emotion and attention, capacities still under construction in youth. Encouraging this awareness early on may set the foundation for lifelong mental and emotional well-being. Through research involving brain scans of children and adolescents, a connection becomes clear. The more mindful the child, the more flexibly their brain transitions between states. This flexibility correlates with lower levels of anxiety and improved emotional regulation. Patterns of brain activity reveal networks tied to mind wandering, attention, and emotional processing. When balanced, they seem to support a more stable, resilient internal state. This supports what many educators and psychologists have observed firsthand: mindfulness helps kids concentrate better, manage emotions more effectively, and respond to challenges with greater ease. Schools that implement mindfulness programs often report improvements in academic performance, social behavior, and emotional well-being. In cases of bullying or chronic illness, mindfulness has even offered a path to healing. But mindfulness alone isn't the whole story. Self-awareness, our capacity to observe ourselves objectively, is what gives these practices real depth. It's the difference between being carried by thoughts and seeing them clearly. When awareness is turned inward, the mind becomes a mirror, reflecting not only actions but also motivations and inner conflicts. Self-awareness is a powerful tool. It helps reveal where we align with our values, and where we don't. When we notice a gap between how we behave and who we want to be, we're faced with a choice: address the discrepancy, or avoid it. The path forward often depends on whether we believe change is possible and worth the effort. The more self-aware we become, the more clearly we see the role our choices play in shaping our lives. Interestingly, our standards can shift too. When they're too rigid, we might modify them in response to experience. Sometimes, this adjustment is wise, especially when the original standards were impossibly high. But other times, changing the standard is simply a way of avoiding discomfort. Discernment is key. Research shows that self-awareness enhances nearly every area of life. It fosters emotional intelligence, helps us empathize, improves communication, and strengthens decision-making. In professional settings, it boosts confidence and clarity. And at its deepest, it becomes the foundation for designing a meaningful life. So what does self-awareness look like in practice? It begins with noticing feelings, habits, behaviors, reactions. Paying attention not just to what happens, but to how we respond, and why. Mindfulness and meditation are natural gateways into this kind of awareness. By observing the breath, the body, and the mind, we become more familiar with our internal landscape. This familiarity brings clarity and calm. Yoga is another path. It's more than physical movement, it's a discipline of attention. Each pose invites presence. Each sensation, an opportunity to observe without judgment. It cultivates awareness of the body and mind working together in real time. Reflection helps too. Whether through journaling, quiet contemplation, or simply sitting with a question, reflection sharpens our understanding of what drives us. Journaling, in particular, offers a space to name thoughts and feelings, to clarify desires and recognize limiting patterns. Feedback from others is also valuable. Trusted friends and loved ones can reflect back parts of ourselves we don't always see. Their observations, while never definitive, offer a mirror to explore with curiosity, not defensiveness. Even questions like, "Who am I?" or "What is aware right now?" can open doorways to profound insight. These aren't questions with answers, but with directions. They don't point outward but inward, to a spacious awareness that isn't limited by story or identity. In Zen and Tibetan traditions, this process of inquiry leads not to a fixed self, but to an open field of presence, an awareness that is empty of form, yet alive with knowing. When the mind quiets and lets go of trying to define itself, what's revealed is often described as emptiness, wakefulness, and love. These aren't poetic abstractions, they are lived qualities of being. Awareness, in its natural state, is boundless. It doesn't cling. It doesn't judge. It simply knows and responds with compassion. This is the heart of the mindfulness journey, not to become something new, but to remember what's always been here. A quiet, spacious presence. A steady inner witness. A field of light, gazing through its own eyes. In daily life, self-awareness becomes a guide. It informs decisions, clarifies purpose, and offers the strength to course-correct when needed. Tracking emotions and energy levels over time reveals patterns, what depletes, what nourishes, what inspires. It's like listening to the subtle voice of the subconscious, the part of us that often knows what we want before we do. Practicing self-awareness is a commitment, not a quick fix. It begins with small, consistent steps, checking in with feelings, observing thought patterns, questioning old narratives. Over time, these practices create a deep intimacy with our inner life, and from that place, we can begin to design our external lives with greater clarity and authenticity. Self-awareness is the foundation for any meaningful change. It's the lens that helps us see clearly, the compass that helps us navigate complexity, and the key that unlocks the freedom to live in alignment with what matters most.